Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. I'm gonna give y'all some time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. Just Jay, baby. What's going on, sis? Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. First things first, you already know. Hopefully, everybody having a blessed and productive Sunday. Hopefully, everybody's still enjoying a 4th of July weekend. I know some of y'all had 4-day vacation. I know y'all living it up. Hopefully, y'all enjoying yourselves. I know some of y'all celebrating birthdays as well. So, all you cancer babies, hopefully, y'all enjoying yourselves, keeping yourself safe at all times. Definitely make sure you stay hydrated because it's hot as all hell outside right now. And it seemed like we ain't gonna get no relief for the next, who knows, few days. For those in the city, same thing. Keep yourselves well hydrated. Whatever events you might be attending, like right now, there's an event going on in my area, and they're going crazy right now. So if y'all do hear some form of Jamaican music, please disregard because they are wilding out right now. But again, hopefully everybody's enjoying themselves and keeping themselves active and all. The title is clear as day. Appreciate everybody that tuned in Friday for the conversation. I spoke briefly on it, but I said I was going to come back and reiterate on it again. But we did hit some key pointers. Shouts to everybody who was in the chat that participated in the conversation. The link is pinned in case at some point somebody want to chime in and give their all in all, views and opinions. Kirika, baby, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that tuned in Friday for the conversation because, yeah, we was hitting on some key facts. Um, and you know how we do. We keep it real. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I tell you like it is. Um, and I'm going to get back to it. Um, I had to put that up because you already know. But yeah, Black excellence. What does it mean to everybody? Topics like this, I know sometimes people don't want to chime in on it, don't want to talk about it, but I feel it's important, especially for our melanated folks, to really get a gist of what Black excellence is and how we can achieve that and how we can get to that space. Um, like I was saying Friday, you know, Black excellence, it starts from home, it starts from what the parents are teaching. Um, if you are coming from a single parent or a 2-parent household, or if you're being raised by other family members, hopefully they are, hopefully they did, and hopefully they were able to teach and show you different ways of how to be excellent and how to be successful in life. And I think those are the most important keys, especially when it does come to character building, and especially when it does come to trying to reach that excellence. Like I said, we've had some very successful entrepreneurs that started off with nothing and worked their way and grounded their way to something big. Sticks, what's going on, my guy? I gotta remember to rinse you up. I'm gonna try to rinse you up during this live if they don't cut me out the stream, y'all. But I got you, bro. Like I said, we've seen we've seen excellence all around the board, at least within our community. We've seen some people become, again, great entrepreneurs of business, in finance. You have some people who are actually, excelling as far as the business is concerned because they took their time. They didn't take no shortcuts. They just grinded it out. Serious, baby. Nah, I know, bro, but you good. Come on, man. You consistent. You been here, bro. So I got you. Definitely got you. But I think that's important. Again, in order for Black excellence to continue to be a thing and for it to rise to a higher occasion, we got to get back to wanting things that definitely mean something. You know, how do you teach black excellence, or how do you teach excellence? Period. It starts from home again. What are you going to teach your children? What are you going to teach your future children? What are you going to teach your nieces and nephews? The reason why some of these people are excellent and they're right is because they didn't take no shortcuts. They followed a process. They followed the journey. They stuck to their guns. They stood to their principles, and they didn't let nothing stop them. And I think that's what creates black excellence all around the board. We got to be strong in whatever it is we're trying to do, and we also got to be faithful and confident in what we're doing. You know, like I said, if you look throughout history, you've seen not just instances, but you've seen black excellence all around the board. You've had melanated people become Supreme Court justice. Why? Because this was something that they wanted to do. This was something that was in their calling. They found out what they really wanted to do, and they just went and did it. And I think that's important too. Whatever you do decide to do, don't give up. Don't let anybody stifle or stop you from trying to be great. It's important. Excellence is not so much as just fun. It's just keeping everything in order. And I think that's important. Keeping yourself on the wraps. We've seen some people come from nothing and make something out themselves. And I believe that's also an important part of excellence. Taking whatever you have or taking what you didn't have and making something out of it. I think, once we start teaching that and start showing that again, you know, we might have the future generation that'll start looking up, or they'll start, wanting to chase that, because again, we got to show the people that outside of sports and entertainment, we have a lot to offer to the world, and again, we've shown it. We have melanated folks who have become Supreme Court judges, or some of our melanated folks have gotten into politics and actually are trying to fight for the people, and I think that's important. It really does show that, look, we can do anything we put our minds to if we just continue to stay strong at it. You know, Black excellence is not just a phrase; it's almost like a way of life. You know, because some of y'all should want to strive for higher and greater. Again, showing these people that, look, we are more than just sports players. My bad, y'all. Y'all gonna hear some noises in the background again. They having some form of Jamaican fest, so you're gonna hear some cars beeping, and you're gonna hear a whole lot of loudness. But hey, welcome to New York City. But yeah, it starts again at home. What do you teach your children? Are you going to teach your children how to, you know, take the reins, teach them how to survive in life, or are you just gonna let them fall victim? And I think that's the thing, though. But one thing to remember is that we don't want to see our people falling into the system. We don't want to see our people going to an early grave. We want to see our people actually succeeding and striving. And that's why I said it's important. You know, like I was telling somebody one day, this person doesn't have to be my child for me to try to tell them something good about themselves or try to tell them something that could be important. And I think that's important for mostly everybody. You know, Giving that strength and that encouragement to the people that actually need it. Because you never know. It could be the simplest things you say, or just, constantly having that person's best interest that will put them on the path of saying, all right, you know what? If this person feels I could do it, what's stopping me from doing it? If some of these people would have quit when they were starting their journeys, they wouldn't have never made it to the successful levels that they've made it to. And that's what I'm saying. The first things first, though, we need to start, re-educating and also let people know the importance of education. You know, You can't just go off of hearsay. Nah, it has to be, it has to be everything legit. Everything from the information you receiving to how you plan on attacking and calculating everything for it to work. There's some things you're gonna have to take, you're gonna have to take some form of education courses on because it's important. Because there's things that you might have overlooked or you might have missed, that's gonna be important, especially for your building. And I think, you know, we need to start showing that more. We need to start showing and putting more light on the people from our communities who are actually doing something great. You know, like I said, you got some people who have started off businesses, whether it was for clothing, whether it's for, household things. You got to look at it. Look at history. We've had melanated folks who damn near created a lot of things in this world of ours. They don't try to give us the credit for it, but a majority of the stuff that people are using now came from us. And I'm not trying to cause no division or nothing. I'm just saying, as far as our folks is concerned, we have done a lot for these communities and we've done a lot for the world itself. And we barely get the credit for it. We barely get acknowledgement or recognition. And I think it's important that we start, recognizing and acknowledging from the smallest of small to the biggest of big. You know, some forms of black excellence we've had some people who were in the fields I was talking about, the entertainment field, but they started revolutions. You know, look at the time when the world was really divided amongst, race and class. You gotta look at some of the people that came up in the jazz era. They started a revolution. They believed in not just their talent, they believed that they could make a difference one way or another. And which way they did, you know? You gotta look at the peoples like Langston Hughes and yeah, they made contributions and they also made impacts, not just to music, but just to our culture in general, you know? And I'm not saying that people from other races don't have excellence in their own right. No, they do. I feel all minorities, in my opinion, have added something to the culture of living. You know, they've added something to the culture and the community, you know. But there are things that, again, we are not getting credit for that we need to start looking at, you know. We've invented so many things that have been life changing. And it's also, it showed us that with sheer strength and determination, but also knowledge and wisdom, anything could be done. And you don't have to bend over backwards. You ain't got to necessarily beg for no help. You just stand strong and firm and just keep doing what you're doing. Colton, what's going on, my guy? Like I said, we have people who became Supreme Court justices. Some of them have become great lawyers. Prime example, may he rest in peace, Johnny Cochran. That was a sign of black excellence because he ain't just build a law firm. He did something that most people probably wouldn't have done. You successfully defended somebody who was accused of a murder, and you didn't fall, you didn't fold, you didn't quit. You just kept doing what you had to do. But you also made sure that your law firm was built on standards and integrity, fighting the right fight, making sure that the people are getting the right type of justice. And I think that's important. Prime example, if you are going to be a lawyer, if you are going to deal with any form of, the justice system, you got to know what that entails. And you also got to make sure that, again, when it's all said and done, you do the right stuff, and you keep on doing it. Without positive, without positive affirmation or without a real genuine support system, There's only so much you can do. Because some people are looking for that. They looking for that encouragement. They looking for that support. They looking, they looking for that, not so much as validation, but they looking for that right type of influence to keep on, keep fueling them and to keep striving. And it's critical. Again, teaching them from when they're young, teaching them not just the books, but teaching them the world around them, showing them that, look, there's going to be times when the world is going to give you hell. But guess what? You got to be able to swing back. You got to be able to fight back. And see, when you don't fight for yourself, you ain't going to be able to stand firm. Not going to be able to move forward with what you need to move forward. Boosie, what's going on, man? Appreciate everybody that's tuning in. Everybody that's new to the channel, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. And if y'all just tuning in, y'all already know, you're in for a good one. You know what you gotta look at. We've had people who've shown forms of black excellence, even joining, the army or the military, things along those natures. Again, finding what you're confident in, finding what's successful for you, and then just following the blueprint. And I think that's important. Following a strong blueprint. Having that blueprint drawn out. What do you see? What can you conquer? And what can you get accomplished? Prime example, I'm going to use another person. May he rest in peace, Tupac. That was a form and a sign of black excellence in the music industry only because guess what? That man did so much in so little time that he was hit. He didn't just, try to conquer rap. He was conquering the movies. He was showing different elements of himself, which is hard for some people to do, showing different elements and different, perspectives of them. Where most people would have said, oh, he was rude, he was outrageous, he was really acting like a thug. No, he was giving you one side of him. Everybody has more than one side to them, in my opinion. But he showed exactly what it was to be dedicated and be hard working. And that's another thing. Whatever you decide to do, you got to work hard. You can't ass around. You can't slack around. You got to work hard. Because in order to achieve that greatness, you got to stand firm. And he showed a prime example of that. I'm going to get a lot done with the little time that I know I might have on this earth. And some people kind of already know when they're not going to be here long. So they will definitely, do as much. They'll try to do everything in their power to get everything done because they want to leave a legacy. Prime example, his legacy still lives on now. Whether good or bad, he's still being talked about. And that's power in a person when you can still be talked about years or centuries later. That just goes to show when you are dedicated and you are passionate about trying to move the chains and you definitely, and that's all I'm saying. Before he even passed on, he was thinking about getting into politics. So just imagine that. A rapper, actor, slash, activist. Even though he came from that cloth because his family was in that cloth. But it just goes to show, look, anything could be done if you just work hard at it. Harry, what's going on, my guy? And that's what I'm saying. We've had people who wasn't here long, but they did a lot in that small time. We have people, prime example, who did a lot and they still here. They did a lot and then they fell back. Prime example, Michael Jordan. As much as they try to tarnish his legacy or try to disrespect his legacy, look at what he did for the game in that short amount of time that he did play. He did something that some players is just now starting to do. Break 30,000 points. He broke 30,000 points in 7 seasons. That goes to show you when you are determined and you hungry to make something, you're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to grind as hard as you need to, and you're going to be very disciplined. And that's one thing we got to teach our folks again, learning just to be disciplined in what we're doing and staying focused. When we're not disciplined and we lose that focus, we lose out on a lot of different things. You know, again, we have people who didn't just enter one field of play. You know, because for some people, it's not about what you've done. It's about what you're continuing to do or what's going to be your legacy for the future. How is everything going to pan out for you? Like, prime example, we've had some people who created things in our communities that are still lasting now, passed on either through family generation or just passed on through close friends of the family, again, or trusting people that is going to keep your legacy going and growing. Diddy, baby. And again, black excellence, it's not just a phrase. It's almost like a way of life for some, because it entails that, look, I might be coming from the hardest parts or the most impoverished parts, but I'm not willing to allow those backgrounds to stop me from moving forward in life. And I think that's what it is. You got to have a strong foundation all around the board. But again, you also got to be willing to make some adjustments, make some compromises, because some of those adjustments and compromises will definitely help you along the lines. In certain instances, you might have to sacrifice certain things, but don't think you're sacrificing for all the wrong reasons, and that's important too. Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. Working hard on these damn Jamaicans at this damn wet fest, baby. But yeah, I think it's important. Again, apologies if y'all hear loud screaming and music. They going in today. But yeah, I think that's important. Showing the future generations what can be possible and what can be achievable. But again, we got to show our people that in order for certain things to work, we got to really want that. We got to really say if we want to make a change or if we want to continue to show forms of black excellence, we got to be willing to work. You can't just sit back and allow things to pass you by. And you also can't think that things are just going to fall in your lap, because it will never do so. You know? Prime example, we've had some people who have shown forms of black excellence through film. Film industry is kind of fickle sometimes, especially when it does come to our folks. But we've had some great people who have definitely created and contributed to the arts. You know, and I think that's important. Teaching the people that, look, no matter what it is you deciding you're gonna do, as long as you are consistent, and that's another thing, you got to teach that consistency. You have to be consistent in everything that you know. And I think that's important. It shows that once we get to that point, there's nothing that could stop us. There's nothing that could stop us from excelling and just being excellent all around the board. You know, in some instances, when I said sacrifice, you might have to sacrifice some people. And I don't mean that in a literal sense, but you might just have to limit your time frame and limit your space with those people, because if on the they not on that verge of giving hope, they on the verge of just not trying to do anything, they're not goal orientated, those people will try to drag you down. They will definitely try to drag you down. Black excellence to me is never giving up, never allowing nobody to try to shorten your blessings. Because you don't know what could be around that board for you. You got some people that'll try to say, oh, well, government did this and government did that. Yes, we know that. But what have we done as a community? to try to push back against it or to try to change it. Like I said, I know there's some things that are not going to ever change, understandable. But we have things that can still be changed. It can still be, you know, useful, and it could also help us in the long run. But we got to want it, you know? We can't allow ourselves to fall victim to the trap, you know? Like for some people, they'll sit here and say that the streets is the way to try to make things happen when you don't have opportunity and space. But there's some people who never ran to the streets at all and still made themselves successful. And it's not saying that they didn't delve in the streets, because everybody has delved in the streets at some point. But when you realize that that's not really the avenue for you, now you have to decide, well, what can I do to make things right? What can I do to make things better? You know, how can I sit here and bring a legacy, not just to myself, but for the family as well? You know, and again, it starts with you. You know, what do you see yourself doing? How do you see yourself doing it? How long do you plan on doing it? You know, and if you do stop doing something, you know, again, what is going to be the overall general consensus and the outcome? We have to get back to those things. Like again, teaching the things that are needed right now. Education is definitely going to be your key to navigating everything in life. It will be. You know, not just studying in those books hard enough, but you know, again, what are you going to do to execute your plans? You know, again, we've had some people who have shown forms of black excellence, and they're still being talked about even to this day. You know, we've had people who decided, okay, well, I plan on moving in this direction. I know what's needed. I know how much I got to do, how much I got to dedicate. So let me just do it. You know, and also just never give up, never quit. Even when things ain't working all the way right, you don't give up. But we also got to have multiple ways and multiple avenues to travel. Because if one avenue doesn't work for you, or if one avenue is not taking you where it should take you, then you find another avenue, and then you work from it. You know, if you got to think of life like traffic, if you got to think of life as driving, you don't want to be stuck in no traffic jam, and you definitely don't want to get rerouted. But if you have to be rerouted, reroute yourself in the right direction. You know, again, it's important to just stand your ground, you know, and do your best at what you're doing. You know, the problem now, the reason why you only getting a small portion of black excellence is because it seems like we as the melanated folk have kind of given up. That's my opinion. Some of us have given up. We are not trying to show the younger ones behind us that there are multiple ways to succeed in life, you know? But again, you got to be hungry and you got to want it. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, Harry. I got you, bro. What's
What's
going on,
up,
my guy?
young man? Not much, man.
What's going
Hanging in
on?
there,
What's going on, you young whippersnapper? What's going on?
man. That's right. I'm chilling, V. Yeah, man. That's a great conversation you're having, man. And like I always tell you, man. I'm always gonna commend you, man. And I appreciate you for always staying true to what you are here, man. So many people deviate and they lose their way, and it's a lot more important things we need to be talking about, just like stuff like this. And
Yeah.
that's why we got to get. Well, I tell a lot of the children, it's cool to be a basketball player, you know what I mean, and catch a football, but you have to be extra special to make it to those elite, but to the NFL. You know what I mean? If you and if you don't take it seriously, unfortunately, you're not going to make it. But we need more. We need more politicians. We need more stuff that's going to really help us in the long run. You know what I mean? That's why, yo, man, yo, you a dope dude, man. You a dope dude, man. Dope. You one of the dopest dudes on here, man. I'm telling. And I visit a lot of channels, and I'm very appreciative for you, man. I want to just tell you thank you, man.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Listen, they ain't doing nothing but just having a regular talk with the people. Hold on, love, baby, baby. Yeah, nah, just doing nothing but having a good conversation. Like I said, we the topic that we have to chop in on because again, like I said, if we want changes. We got to be able to stand firm and stand united on these situations. Like, we can't keep crying about certain injustices, but then we not willing to stand together all around the board. It shouldn't just be about, oh, we had a situation with the cops. No, we should. If any time there's a situation where our folks are being harmed, we supposed to stand on everybody. We supposed to stand on everybody's neck to a degree. Because again, it's not
Right.
trying to incite nothing. It's just when we get looked at the bottom of the pole. But if you look at it again, we create a lot of things that people still use to this day. So how can we
Exactly.
sit here and
Yeah.
not give
Definitely.
credit where it's due?
Yeah. It was so much things. I just found out even like within 2 weeks ago, and it was unfortunately there's some good white people, and they brought it to my attention. I was like, wow. And then, even people don't even know the GPS was created by a black woman. It's so many things that we use nowadays, man. But like you said, we lost our way. We lost our way. It's not that difficult to get back on track. Well, it's going to take time, of course. It's going to take patience. Like you said, we gotta get into the neighborhoods and speak to these kids, man. And even though they might roll their eyes, and it's all about consistency, man. As long as you stay consistent and let them know you genuinely love them and want to see them do better, and our communities have become safe. We give these, and a lot of I hate to say it, Nate, but a lot of these police officers are scary, man. And so when they come into the neighborhoods, they already got this one notion like, okay, well, everybody's a criminal. You know what I mean? So they use roughhouse tactics. Some of them. I'm not gonna say all of them. Are they? Do you need law and order? Of course you do, because we haven't figured out a way yet how to love each other. So we're gonna have to. We're gonna definitely have to work. We're gonna have to work, man, and not give up on these kids, man. They the future, man. They are future politicians and etc. Teachers. We could go down the line. We more than just athletes and entertainers. You know what I mean? We way more than that. And we just gotta get together collectively, gradually, slowly but surely, and just work, man. We got a lot of work to do, man, because a lot of things are being cut out. A lot of these these burdens are not going to be in effect until the future. Our kids are going to actually feel the brunt of a lot of these changes, man.
Nah, that's a whole fact, and that's why I'm saying, like, look, we got black excellence even in the police force. We have some officers who work within the communities.
Right?
Why? Because some of them coming from the same damn communities. But like I said, there's a couple of them out here right now that where most people would have been trying to give them hell. Everybody else is not giving them hell because they already know they don't come busting nobody's balls or chopping about shit. Even when it comes down to certain events, they'll sit here and be a part of those events, and they'll sit here,
Yep.
they'll
Yeah.
sit here and do shit with the people, and that's the thing. Again, it's just about coming together and staying unified, because we are quick to use that tactic of, oh, government this and government that and so on and
Right.
so forth, and we cry about injustices. But again, some of us are the problems and why we are getting this injustice now because we can't stand
That's
together.
right. That's a whole fact right there, man. Word.
Like I said, we've had some corrupt people. Not saying that we didn't,
Yeah.
but we also had some people who wasn't corrupt. They was doing what they was supposed to do. Like I said, one of the
Right.
dudes in my area just got I think he just got acknowledged for his, his contributions to the community because yeah, he's not just out there protecting and serving. He's a part of some of these events. He'll sit here and play with the kids, do all sort of shit. If he got certain extra things, he'll give them out. That's what I'm saying. It's all about what you do and what you contribute. And that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
We all have something we can
That's
contribute
right.
to the melanated community. But as long as we we constantly fighting each other, we unaliving each other, we just coming at each other on a negative aspect. We ain't gonna be able to get back to where we once was because we was at a prominent stage at one point of our lives.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's what
true.
I'm saying. We've lost that because we quick to go against each other. Oh, I can't stand that this person is doing this. I can't stand that this person is, you know,
Right.
they they sitting here elevated. Well, if you don't want to be stuck on standstill or stuck at the bottom, you got to do something.
That's
And
right.
some people are given the blueprint. Like some people are showing you, look, if this is something you might be interested in, I'll advise you to get into that. If this is something that might be too much for you, all right, well then what can you find or what do you want to do that's gonna bring you to where you need to be at?
Right. That's a whole fact, man. Yep. And once we get it, like I said, it's gonna have to be a slow process because it's gonna take a lot of unprogramming, man. So many people are programmed, and through the music, even through a lot of the social media stuff, man. Now I don't know if you see this, man. This tripped me out. I don't even know. I'm not sure how authentic it is. I'm not sure, but they saying that they got an AI program. This what I saw, and the AI program is going in different community, well, different white communities, and acting like they're stealing and stuff like that. And I'm like, dang, that's going to be very harmful, man. Because people already look at us crazy through the media and through movies and stuff like that, and they don't realize that it's a small percentage of our people that act like this. It's not everybody, yo. It's not everybody, and like I said, it's going to take work, man. It's going to take work, and we just got to stay on course. And as long as we stay on course, and even if somebody, like, if we get a truce or we stop the civil war that we got going amongst ourselves, and just because something happens, and because the government, they they was the ones that started back up that thing with the Bloods and Crips. Remember when they had that truce a long time ago, a while back, and they
Yeah,
stopped killing each other for a minute. Yeah, the
yeah,
government stepped back in, and they you know how they do. They send a mole in there, and the mole do something, and then it's right back over to the races, man. You know what I mean? And to these youngsters, man, it's like this. It's nothing wrong with being a part of an organization, gang, or whatever. It's just your activities that make you messed up, man. I mean, all this time doing all these crimes and stuff like that, it's not benefiting. So what are we going to do that's going to be different? Initially, these organizations were started to police the police. Remember,
yeah,
that's why a lot of people got organized. They got tired of certain things happening in the community, and the people that you look to protect you, they the ones doing the crimes. You know what I mean? So it was crazy. But we can't let a mold throw it off, throw anything. I mean, when we get things back on track, we can't let a mold just throw it off. You know what I mean?
yeah. The main thing is just spotting those situations. Like I was telling somebody the other day, we were sitting there having a little talk, and I told him, I said, look at it. I said, look how many different parties that we had that was actually on the verge of making changes, not just amongst our community, but just in the world in general. And look, people being too jealous, too envious, people just, not wanting to see that change, scared of a revolution, especially a revolution that's going to benefit us. Of course, we got to attack. We got to bring them down because, the one thing I'm gonna say this. I'm not too big of a conspiracy theorist, none of that. But I've always felt, in my opinion, since I was younger, the one thing that I know that they scared of is a united melanated front that's just not tolerating nothing, and they gonna stand firm in what they believe in. They hate that.
Right.
They hate when we get together and actually stand united on things because we actually get things done. and we don't allow
Yeah.
certain things
Right.
to continue to happen. We will sit there and press the issue until we can't press it no more.
That's right. Word, man.
And
That's
that's why
all
it's
facts
important
right
to
there,
have
man.
these talks. Yeah, that's why it's
Yeah, it is
important to
very
have these
important.
type of talks. Man.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody could talk about other kind of BS. We need to talk about these things that really are relative, man. That people just neglecting and looking over and all that. And, I'm a fan of music. Don't get me wrong, but that's only like with the dude Charleston White. He 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 may he may be a troll and he do certain things that maybe people might not agree with, but some things that he said it does resonate, man. It's like yeah, he's right about that. I mean, it's talking about as far as the music and these people that are making billions and billions of dollars off for talking about craziness. You know what I mean? And this has been going on since we was kids. I don't know how old you are. I'm 45. So when I was back in the days when we was going to make moves or we had or we felt like we needed to do something, we would listen to Master P. We would listen to certain songs and it gets you revved up. You're already nice. You drunk a little something and the enemy just came through and then we gotta go get him. And we pumped that music and it was straight poison, man. And I feel like they owe a lot, man. They owe a lot because we put these people in positions, man. Master P, I mean, he's doing great, and he made the full the full 360. But it's like a lot of your music that you put out got a lot of people hurt, man. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy,
Nah,
man.
nah, it's a fact. Again, it's just about what you put out because we've had some prominent black artists who they put out
Right.
music and the music wasn't all about destruction and poisoning their own
Right.
community or killing their own community. Some of it, like
Mm.
prime example, people like Nas, he always keeps it real.
Yeah.
He's talking about specific things
Yeah.
that are still messing with us to this day. That's why I said I give certain ones they
Yeah.
flowers because
Oh yeah, no
again,
doubt.
they music is not so much as trying to, destroy our community. It's trying to give our communities hope.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
That's my
We got
favorite
to keep
rapper,
that
Nate.
hope alive. Nah,
Yeah, Nas is my favorite rapper, man. Yep.
yeah, no doubt, no
Out of all
doubt.
time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rappers from the city that they think it's just one dimensional. No, we've had artists who are multi-dimensional. They're not just going to give you
Yes.
a party song or give you a shoot 'em up song. No, they're going to give you something to think about. Like I said, Tupac was one of them. Everybody only thinks about certain songs and like, nah, Pac was all around the board. Pac could sit here and give you a party song. Pac might
Yep.
give you a shoot 'em up song, but Pac will also
Mhm.
give you a political or something that's going on in the community. He'll give you something that makes you think.
Yeah.
Cutthroat, what's going
Yeah,
on,
he
my
was
guy?
definitely versatile. Yep. He was definitely versatile.
That's yeah, that's what you got. Is that's what our people got to realize. All of our melanated folks got to remember we are always versatile. If we wasn't versatile, some of the things that have happened or some of the things that we have contributed to wouldn't be where it's at today. But again, you can't live in one dimension when it comes to certain things. You can't just tell one story. You got to be able to tell multiple stories, and you got to be able to make sure that these stories don't conflict and don't mess us up in the long run. Again, it's about what message you essentially put out. If you're gonna
Right.
put out a message of positive and hope, then you got to keep that sucker no matter what. Even when you
Yep.
go into the roughest of parts, you still, like you said earlier, some people are already thinking that most of us are just criminal minded. No, we ain't criminal minded. Most of us are just trying to find a way to make it and trying to make sure that our families are straight too. But
Right.
we not gonna
Hmm.
compromise our morals and integrity just to do so. And that's the one thing they wait. They wait for us to say, well, yeah, he about to bite the bullet. He about to bite the bait.
Hmm.
And then when it's all said and
Right.
done, when they see we don't bite the bait or see some of us don't bite the bait, now they upset. Now they got to come up with another plan to try to get us to bite that bait. That's what I told
Hey
somebody. I
Nate,
said, you
that's
just got to
crazy
be
how you brought
watching out.
that up, B. Yo, that's crazy how you brought that up. Because remember that's what that dude Elon Musk tried to do a while back with the when they remember they went into the archives and tried to start erasing what Black Americans accomplished. I mean, in war for the
Yeah,
country. They try to go
Yeah,
and start racing it. Hey, nobody ain't make a move. Nobody ain't bust a move, man. Everybody was like, we're kind of used
yeah,
to it now. So,
yeah, because they already know what it is. Hold on, Exiled, what's going on? Nah, but that's the thing though.
oh,
See,
Exiles,
once
man,
they
that's my dude,
recognize
man.
what's going on, nah, but this is what I'm saying. Once they realize that we ain't biting the bullet and we ain't falling for that sucker shit no more, this is where they try to go back to the table because they realize it's not going to work. That's why I said in certain instances they try to use race, but it's not always going to work because again, we see certain things for what it is now. It's bad enough that amongst all the minorities, we still get looked at as as less than citizens, but again, we've done a lot of things and contributed a lot of things to the simplest resources, even now. That's what I'm saying. Just it's all about what you learn, and it's all about you know the right type of
I was
teaching.
talking
That's
to
why I
the
said
kids.
it does start from home. Because again, what are you teaching your kids? What are you teaching your nieces and your nephews? You know, shoot, and like I said, it's all generational when it's all said and done because the older generation is tuned in and they locked in and they trying to give their best, insight and input on certain things. And you got the younger generation that's doing the same thing. That's why I said in one of my recent lives, information goes up and down the ladder when it comes to us. Sometimes the older folks are going to give us some jewels, give us some knowledge, but then we also send something up the ladder too they might not be aware of. And that's what I'm saying. They are fearful when they know they have a whole melanated group deciding to just stand firm and united on. They hate that because they know what can be done and they know things will make a change for it. And that's what I'm saying. We just got to get back to that. Again, we got to love ourselves first, and we got to also love our brothers and
Right.
sisters, regardless of what.
Yep. That's the truth, Nate. We gotta love ourselves first, man. We gotta love ourselves. Yo, Exiles is a dope brother, man. Hey, salute to the
Yep.
chat. My fault. I came in. I didn't even salute the chat. Yo, that's my guy right there, man.
Yeah, I seen him in here once or twice. It just
Yeah, yeah,
shout
he's
out to
dope.
y'all.
He's
Shout out.
dope. Word. That's another dope dude,
And
man.
that's what I'm
Yo,
saying. It's
he tell
important.
it like it is too. Yep.
Yeah, we need more people like that, telling it like it is, and just telling it from a real perspective. Like I told somebody, I don't. James, what's going on, my guy? Like I told somebody, I said, you hate to give us credit and acknowledgement on things, but guess what? There's things that have already been documented in history, even if we have to
Yep.
go back into the archives to find them. But there's things that are documented, proving that look, we have contributed as much as anybody else has contributed. The problem is you refuse to give us our credit for it. You refuse to allow us to continue to build and grow because you feel like once we get to a certain stage, yeah, you already know once we get to a certain stage, we not allowing certain things. We not going to continue to accept certain things. And if we got to go to war, we going to war for it, especially if we really believe in it. And that's what I'm saying. We got to have that militant but smart mind when it comes to certain things. But again, we also just got to, we also got to credit ourselves for just doing the necessary things, and it's important. If we get back on that notion of unity, self respect, but just respect in general, shoot,
Right.
you'd be surprised how much could get done, even down to everything that's going on in school. Some of these people cry and complain about what's going on in school, but guess what? We had people who shown black excellence and they've been the best of teachers. Didn't matter what they
That's
was
right.
teaching. Oh no, I know that Exile. I just said that earlier. We contributed more than what the people think we contributed. There's things right now they try to say, oh well, you didn't, they didn't. All right, well, who you think did the blueprint? If it wasn't for our blueprints to some degree, you wouldn't have some of the stuff you got now. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not discrediting anybody who has contributed something towards community and towards life itself. But you got to give
Right.
us our credit where it's due. Because
Yeah.
again, we've had strong people in the justice system. We had strong people in the school systems who have fought hard and fought, valiantly just for that. We want our people to learn more. We want our people to, get more. And I think that's
That's right.
important. Wait a minute. Don't bring that behind. Hey. Shout out to all the coffee drinkers. My bad. Yo, James, pass me that coffee creamer, son.
That's right.
You know, that's what I'm saying. The simplest things that they try to take away from us, they can't because it's already been documented. Just like when they try to say we didn't have, or Obama was our first black president. No, the hell he wasn't. If you look in history, we had black presidents before it was even a real first president. They just don't want to document that. They don't want to speak that because they already know that will throw a hole and it'll also debunk some of the shit that they said about it. James
I
number
got a
8, what's
question
going
for you,
on, my
nigga.
guy? What's going on?
What's they fear, man?
Once they what?
Why are they so fearful?
Again, they fearful that if we come together as a whole, we stand united in everything, and we do what's needed. They, you know what? They fearful that we know how to get ourselves to the top of the mountain. We was already at the top of the mountain at one point, and we was firm. We was united. We was actually, you know, standing on business. In my Ti voice, we were standing on business. But you know, like you said, then we have one mole that comes in and messes up everything, and then it causes doubt, confusion. See, it's the thing when we are united on a straight front about everything, they can't stop us. They fearful because they know we are knowledgeable. They know we could get things done in a small amount of time, and they also know that once we get going, there's no stopping us because there's no type of roadblocks or anything stopping us from doing anything. And if they know we uplifting each other and we keep giving each other that strength and encouragement, shoot, you imagine how much shit can be done. And we don't have to always look for government help or assistance. That's another thing too.
Right.
We know if we get to
Yeah.
that point, we ain't gonna need their assistance no more. And then that's really gonna fuck them up because some of the shit they like to sit here and oh yeah, well they're gonna do this and oh yeah, they're gonna definitely have to come to us for this. If they realize we don't
Right.
come to them for nothing, that's what they're fearful of. They're fearful that we ain't gonna be coming to them for nothing. If anything, we might shut down the government. Look, nigga, look, we got some people in here that actually need to be in these seats. And that's another thing. That's why they fearful of
Right.
politicians, especially melanated politicians who actually stand for the people in their communities, because they know these people are actually going to do what they set out to do. You know?
Like you saw that what Exiles wrote in
Yeah, I
yeah, I
can't
didn't even
remember the
know that,
first
man.
president. Nah, but we had black presidents. See, that's the thing. I knew that in school. I knew that when I was going to school. We had black
No, I'm talking about
president.
Eisenhower. He said Eisenhower was mixed.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I knew Abraham Lincoln was mixed because his hair wasn't too straight like how the other folks are, and but then you just look at it, you be like, oh, all right, yeah, you definitely had some melanin. There's a lot of people that's throughout history that's been mixed one way or another, you know, but they
Right.
always try to credit one side and don't credit everything. Like, look, man, at the end of the day, these people are still within our community. Like I told somebody, I said they could be the lightest of the light, but if they coming from melanated folks, they are melanated no matter how bad you look at them. You know, like I had one or two people in my area that, you know, they suffer from that albinoism. But if you look at
Hmm.
their parents, like, yo, and you look at them and look at the parents, like, he looked like a spitting image in them. He just, you know, he got the
Yeah.
albino shit going on. So it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like I
Uh huh.
told somebody, I said, so you can't sit here and say that that person ain't, oh yeah, whitey. No, he's not. Like, and I hate that when they do that. Like, stop just
Yeah,
making
man.
assessments and judgments and character. No, judge somebody by their actions and their characteristics and what they actually do for the people. You know, and that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. We gotta
I'm
stop
with you on
having
that one,
that.
man. Word.
Yeah, nah, we just gotta stop having that one set mind of things. Like, oh, if we feel this, then you ain't part of us. Just because I might not run certain avenues or I might not do certain things you do, that don't mean I'm less black. Just because I might move different or I
Right.
might think different, that don't mean I'm not part of the community. And that's something we got to stop doing. We got to stop shunning our brothers and sisters just because they not always within. Everybody gonna follow their own path to greatness or follow their own road.
Right.
We don't necessarily have to follow everybody else's footsteps, but we just need to set that blueprint that look, no matter what you decide to do or no matter how you do it, as long as you stand strong, you know, you keep yourself firm, you don't let yourself be compromised, you good.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, the
Right.
link
So
is
don't let
pinned.
yourself be
The link is
compromised,
pinned for
man.
anybody. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They fail to realize that we've done a lot, and we still are doing a lot as we speak now. There's some people right now that I rock with that I shout out to my brother Word, man. He probably in the bushes somewhere. I'd say he's a form of black excellence because he ain't just life coaching. He's showing that look, despite whatever I'm going through or despite my physical whatever, I'm still willing to work and help people who are willing to be helped. And that's the thing. If some of y'all claim that y'all want help, y'all trying to be great, you know, give those credits and give the flowers where it's due to those who are actually trying to help. You can't
Right.
just give attitudes all day. Like prime example, I told somebody, you can't give somebody a shitty attitude and think that you're gonna succeed in anything that you're doing. No. If
Right.
anything, you're knocking yourself down. I just told this
Yeah.
one girl that the other day. I said, "Look, you could have had three positions for three different jobs, but because of your attitude and because of you thinking that this person was trying to be just thirsty when he was only just trying to educate you on something, especially if he trying to help you get something, you just messed yourself up, and you possibly messed
Yeah.
up anybody around you because now that person gonna look at you like, well, we can see these people ain't about it. That's the same thing with the brothers too. You can't sit here and get mad when some of the OGs are trying to not school you because I know they hate that word. Oh, you schooling me. No, I'm trying to educate you for something better. I'm trying to give you some good advice that's needed. I'm trying to give you something that's going to be useful for your future. But if you want to sit back and give attitudes and give all sorts of fuckery, excuse my language, then what you expect to happen? You're going to keep sitting in that same position until you decide to change gears and just say, you know what, I need to make some changes. And I'm not saying change yourself change yourself overall. Change the thought process of things. You can't change who you are personality wise, but you can change the aspects and the way you think of life. Like I told somebody, I got a different view on life. Where some people feel it's impossible for things to happen, I still feel like things can happen. But again, it's up to the people. He might be in the matrix, y'all. He might be in the matrix. But the
For
link is
me?
pinned for anybody in case anybody else. Yeah, I thought she was in the matrix for a second.
No, no,
I was
no.
like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, yeah, I had to do my little one twos, man. I had to get that. I had a long day, man. I had a rough week, Nate. I ain't even, well, actually, I had a rough 2 weeks, man. Financially, I was I was on I was on course, man, and I was supposed to get a truck, man. I was supposed to get it last month, but
Yeah.
my kid's mother, man, she's not she's not in a great mental space right now, so I'm taking on a lot of the financial burdens, man. And clothing my kids, feeding them. 'Cause I get them for the whole summer. So
Yeah.
uh, it's a long story, man. I don't even want to get off track. Like we'll say that for another show. That's crazy,
No, you
man.
all
Cause
right.
yeah, man.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even when we go through things like this, you know, situations like that, we just gotta do what's necessary, stand strong, and a lot of times just we gotta have our faith strong because sometimes that be the higher power testing us to see what we
Right.
gonna do or how we gonna do things. Somebody try to say, "Oh, I said no." I said I just believe that. I believe a lot of times it's a higher power that's just testing us on certain things. There's some things we can't deal with on our own. And there's some things that again we just gonna have to give it up and just move forward with the next stages of things. Like prime example, you know, whatever you going through shouldn't stop you or shouldn't discourage you from trying to, keep accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish. You might have to take a little sit back or setback for a second, but you don't let that setback, you know, destroy your overall thesis of things. You just got to keep moving and keep building. And people hate to hear these type of talks because they feel like, oh, it's hopeless or, oh, they just talking out their ass. But no, we've seen people who come from little to nothing and made something and strove to excellence because, again, they was determined not to let anything stop them. The minute we decide not to let nothing stop us that shouldn't stop us, this is where they'll get fearful even more because they already know we gonna be militant. Like I said, why you think they feared a lot of those? like the Black Panther parties and stuff like that? Why you think they feared, even if he wasn't a part of the Black Panthers? Any melanated group that tried to do something, they was fearful because they already knew once we had the blueprint on everything, we wasn't allowing nobody to stop us or tell us anything. You couldn't tell us nothing without proving facts. And that's the
Yep.
thing. Once we have facts sitting in our face, anything anybody else tell you is just hearsay or nonsense. And once you debunk that shit, oh, it's definitely a problem.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. They look to us for certain things, but they also look for us to fall backwards and rely on them. But shoot, if we rely on each other, shoot, there's a lot of things that could be changed. Like prime example, teaching your kids certain things like how to plant, how to plant fruits and vegetables, how to, make certain things happen. Because we see what's
Wow.
going on we see what's going
You
on
just
right
gave me an
now. Some
idea, man.
people crying, some people crying and moping about prices on certain foods and stuff. But if we learned how to do agriculture and get things right, shit, we would definitely be in a better space, man. Listen, man, my mom's rest in peace. Before they turned that garden that was across the street from my building into an actual building, my mom's had that whole garden, both sides. My mom's had the
Wow.
green thumb, man. My mom's was planting everything, collard greens, fucking carrots, you know,
Man.
cabbage, all of that shit. My mom's had the green thumb for real. She put something down, did what she did. That shit has started growing and sprouting. I don't know if I got a green thumb because I never really did any form of gardening or whatever. But shoot, at some point I might even try to see what's what. I give me a little garden space. I might do that same thing. Grab up some stuff, plant it, make sure it got the right type of nutrients and everything else, and see what happens from there. But see, that's the thing. My mom was determined too. My mom didn't just give up, and that's the thing. We can never give up. If life is like a garden, we all gotta be able to tend to our parts of the garden. Whatever we gonna grow, let it grow. And then again, just making sure I got the right sunlight, the right water, and when it does start growing, make sure we take it out those places or out them pots, plant it somewhere else, and then again let it grow.
Right. Yeah. I'm in the South, so and I have some. I don't have a whole bunch of land, but I got like an acre and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be something. That'd be something nice to do. I don't. It's down there where my kids stay at, and it's like, man, I don't know what happened to it. Now it's like a forest, man. It looks so crazy. I looked back there, I was like, damn. But it's a way to get back there. You can knock all that stuff down. It's no problem. But when you don't take care of your stuff, man, the visuals will show. Put it like that.
facts.
You can see some
That's
different
what I'm
visuals.
saying.
Like, wow.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta stop just worrying about killing and destroying things. We gotta worry about trying to build and trying to bring prosperity on a serious note. Hold on, head, keep your head. Keep your head on the swivel. See what Sirius wrote? And I appreciate you, Sirius, baby. Yeah, my mom's birthday would have been tomorrow. I'm gonna fucking cook. I'm gonna do what I've been doing as a tradition. I was gonna
Yeah,
cook out, but
appreciate that serious word. I got to keep it on the comments. I'll be forgetting to read the comments. Yeah, that's well noted. That's well noted. Appreciate you, Queen. That's well noted.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's too easy to give up, fortunately for me, I have something to motivate me. I have my children, so and I understand, and I also explain to them that the importance of sticking together and the importance of us building something as a family. Like I told them when they become eligible to work, when everybody gets situated and everybody start working, we should all put $100 a day. I mean, $100 a week. No, maybe about $300 a month in a pot. You know what I mean? I told them over 10, 20 years, you let it build, put it inside the bank and let it grow interest. We should be doing all right. I told him by the time my oldest son, he's only 15, but he got 3 more years till he's 18. But he already has the mind frame. He wants to work because he see what I do and I drill in his head. I'm like, I'm not trying to live through you. I'm just trying to get you to avoid the mistakes that I made because the people that was coaching me, they was only 3, 4 years older than I was. And it took me to reach my adulthood to realize they wasn't even that much older than me. And I'm thinking that they grown, because they was doing grown stuff. So you automatically like put an estimate on somebody's age, and I'm finding out like just as a recent maybe 3-4 years that these dudes only like 3-4 years older than me. I'm like, damn, yo, you know what I mean? So you can see the disconnect where they don't even know. They learn as they go along, and you watching them as they go along, and it's a messed up cycle in the neighborhoods, man. And I know it can be broken. It can be broken because, like I told my son, I did jail time. I keep it official with him. I did prison time. So I'm gonna let you know. I'm trying to keep you from having this conversation with your kids. So I gotta sacrifice. I gotta work. I work 6 days a week. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in that work, man, because in order to build something. Now, when I get in my older years, I should be able to relax because I done paved the way. But if you make a mistake, I let them know that you can't say you didn't have anybody. You can't use that excuse. So if you want to mess up, you want to test the street, okay, fine. Go check it out.
But
See
you
how it
know, in
works for you,
certain
bro.
instances, yeah, because in certain instances, with some people are gonna only learn if they experience things themselves, you know, and if they see that, oh, okay, this is really becoming
Right.
too much, or this is something that I didn't think it was like that. Once they get that realization, like, oh, okay, I see what my pops was talking about. I see my mom was talking about. So like me, prime example. My mom used to give me the best of advice. You know, and like I said, I've also had uncles and I had fellas in the community that knew my moms and were strong and wise, but they was also, they was family orientated. And shoot, they even still close friends to the family now. I just had a whole conversation before I got up here earlier. One of my uncles almost talked me to death. And he's not my blood uncle, but this is somebody that is close to the family that looked at me as his own nephew. If anytime he thought I was in some shit, he'd be right there. And that's what I'm saying. It's important. That you teach what you can teach. And you make sure that these people get the lesson. Like I said, some people are gonna take heed to what's being said and what's being taught. Some people they gonna have to find out the hard way, and it's sad because you shouldn't have to learn the hard way to realize like I could do a whole bunch without having to put myself in an early grave or put myself in a situation where I'm never coming home to my family. And I
Yeah.
think that's important. Again, we got to get back in that mindset of saying, you know what, screw this. We got multiple ways to make it happen. And while we still have some resources left to do so, let's utilize and put things together. Because just like you said, at some point, if we don't start standing firm and if we don't start fighting back on some of these things, that's what's going to happen. In the future, some of them people are going to feel the brunt of that because they're going to be like, well, why I can't do this? Well, do this or do because of this, we can't do it. That's what I'm saying. We need more people, who are going to stand on the front lines. Like you said, we need more politicians. We definitely need more, lawmakers. We definitely need to change some of the field the way we need to. We definitely need more people who are for the people in this justice system. And we also just need to show the world again, outside of music, sports, and entertainment, we can contribute and do just about anything that we set our minds to. It's really about it.
That's a whole fact right there, man.
That's why I'm saying, these are conversations are important. But I forget, sometimes people ain't willing to accept it. But Pac said it best. People will sit here and say certain things, but then they guess what? They scared of revolution. Keyword, niggas is scared of revolution. Not black folks. Niggas is scared of revolution because they don't want to see change. They are comfortable in the set. You know, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. Hold on. At the age of 15, his brain is still developing. You're doing right by teaching him the value of a dollar. Yeah, that's right, serious. I mean, that's the thing. Even when it comes down to certain things, at a certain point, you gotta teach your kids the value of a dollar. That's why, like some people say, "Oh, I'll spoil my kids to death." No, you can't do that because when it's all said and done, they ain't gonna learn nothing. They ain't gonna learn the
That's
value of a dollar if you don't teach them that. Look, things is not cheap. Some things are gonna be expensive, and if these are things that you want, then you're gonna have to get out there and go do something to make it happen. Because I could give you the things that you need. I'm not always going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you the things that you need. I'm going to make sure I give you an education, which you need. I'm going to make sure I give you a roof over your head, which you need. I'm going to give you clothes on your back,
right.
which you need because you can't go outside in the world naked. It's just
Yeah,
things like that. Give them the things that they need, but teach them that if they do want certain things, they got to be willing to work for it. They got to be willing to do what's necessary. Like I was just saying in the live the other day, I said it's crazy because I watched the situation and shout outs to Riders again because she was showing something. She was showing how some of these jobs right now is basically computerized. Like you only got maybe 1, 2 employees and they're doing a whole bunch of everything, and the computers is doing everything. Platty baby.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. But see, this would have been a situation where it's like, well, we got some young kids that want to work and said they want to work. All right, perfect opportunity. Look, we need you to do this. You think you can do this? You think you can handle this? And if it's too
yeah,
much for you, let us know now. But that's what I'm saying. We got to be able to say, look, whatever opportunities is given to us right now, take it and utilize it. Even if it's something that you don't want right now, guess what? You still got to start from somewhere. You got to be able to build your stuff, build your, you know, build your security. Because again, you can't just quit one thing because it's something you don't like. Yeah, we know everybody don't stay with their first jobs. We know that, but we
right.
gonna have those who stay because guess what? They see themselves getting into another door, or another pathway. But how can you get into that pathway if you're not prepared? Like I said, that's like you quitting a job knowing you ain't got a backup plan. What you think gonna happen? You might be
Brief.
able to survive for that little small time frame, but other than that, after that,
It's
you
real
gonna be
brief.
you gonna be looking crazy.
Yeah, I've done that, man. And every time because down south was where I first had my first job. I never worked in the city.
Yeah,
I never filled out an application in New York, to
yeah,
be honest with you. Yeah, and then when I came out here, I got my first job. Like you said, a few of them joints I quit with no backup plan. I was struggling in between that time until I found another job. And when I was down here, I was scrambling a little bit, but the money wasn't the same, and they just real different down here. You know what I mean? They more like more people. Well, I was in the country. More people down there. People down there are more in your business, like heavy. B. If you're putting your stuff on Broadway, you're giving them the invitation to come into your world and be more inquisitive and try to figure you out, figure this out, yo, man. And it took me a long time. It took me to like I was maybe in my 30s to realize, yo, you gotta get a job, yo. You gotta maintain some work. You know what I mean? Because it ain't nobody I could call and be like, yo, and I shouldn't have to if you're able bodied, if you're a grown person. Like 32, I snapped out of that shit. I was like, yo, I got to work. And ever since then, I never looked back. You know what I mean? But the obstacles coming up, man, is going to be crazy, yo.
yeah. That's why I said while we got the chance to, we got to keep having these talks. We also got to just be consistent in what we do. Like I said, I just seen last summer when I was doing. It's like I said, tomorrow would have been my mom's birthday, but last year on her birthday, we was doing a barbecue or whatever. And they also had an event going on, but there was a bunch of melanated folks teaching them about or trying to teach people about credit, teaching them about stock market options and portfolios and things along those lines. Some people actually sat there and listened. Everybody else just said, they just talking a bunch of bullshit we don't need to hear. But that's what I'm saying. We gotta stop overlooking things. And even if that's not the path for you, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not the path for somebody else around you. That's why I told somebody,
Right.
we got more followers now than we do leaders. And see, that's the thing about us back in the day. And even throughout history, we had strong leaders. Yeah, we had followers and people who was around us, but we had mostly strong leaders. Whatever they was leading, if the people was interested in that, then guess what? They was following that. I might have been teaching about music, arts, and everything else. You might be teaching about financials, things along those lines. Another brother might be teaching about, construction and labor work and things along those lines. Should it matter? Should it really matter what, road you go down? As long as you're going down one of those roads to success, that's the
Yeah,
most
as long as you
important
got
thing.
the option, right? Yep,
Yeah.
that's the truth there,
But
man.
give yourself the option, and give yourself that motivation to say, look, I could do this. It's gonna be a little struggle probably trying to do it, but I could do it. Like prime
That's
example,
right.
like I said, if I don't do something this year, I might just try to plan for next year. One of them days I'm gonna sit outside and I'm a dead ass. I'm gonna buy up a bunch of school supplies and I'm gonna just say, listen, if you need extra supplies for school, if you need extra books, book bags, coats, whatever, hey, I'm gonna do that. Because this was something my mom used to do to a degree. My mom used to sit here and tutor damn near half of the people, young and old, son. If you needed help in anything, and she still was knowledgeable in it, she was helping. Because she only wanted to see greatness come from people as well, too. Like making sure that they educated on certain things. This is where I get part of my, not so much as inquisitiveness, but this is where I get part of my shit from. The queen that gave me birth. The other half came from my father because my father wasn't no slouch. He might not have been an active part, but that nigga wasn't stupid either. That nigga could fix things that I can't fix right now. Oh, only thing you gotta do is this. So again, it's just about again what you pick up, what you learn, and what you take with you as far as those being your tools for motivation.
Yeah,
It's really about it. Again, giving yourself an option. Giving yourself strong options and never giving up. And I think that's important though. It's important to do so.
right.
What's going on, my dad? Son? Come on, son. It's 1,000 degrees outside, son. You bring that heat inside here? My bad, y'all. James, where you going, man? BMF, what's going on, man? James, how you gonna leave out and then give us no ribs? How you gonna leave out and then give us no barbecue ribs, James? Come on, James. That's it. Nah, I
Yeah,
appreciate you, James. You already know, man.
let's go slap.
Shout out Uncle Red Shirt, man. Nah, but that's what I'm saying. Just giving yourself options, but also again, just keeping yourself strong and having that base of foundation, not crumbling under any form of pressure. And I think that's one thing they fear. Once we get to that point, and they notice we ain't crumbling, we ain't shaking, we ain't doing no mold type activity. Oh, they scared of that because they already know what time it is for me.
That's right.
Hold on, James, you gonna leave out of here? You ain't share a barbecue rib, but you gonna share the coffee. Mm.
James said you got a boogie, baby.
And
Yeah,
that's the
Nate,
thing
man,
though.
this thing getting rough, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's one thing we got to stop doing too is we got to stop downing our own, like we got to stop clowning our own folks because you got some people that feel because they in a good position, oh, well, I'm better than you. Nigga, it don't matter if you was richer than me or poorer than me. I'm gonna still look at you as my brother or my sister. We all still going through a struggle. We trying to get somewhere in life that actually means something. And we trying to stand firm in what we don't. No doubt, serious. You already know, baby. And I'm thinking about that. Like I said, I might just do that because I remember it was a lady that lived in my building. May she rest in peace. Even when she moved out the building, she would still come back here and do a school giveaway. If your kids had great report cards, guess what? Your kids were entitled to get damn near anything off of that table, whether it was extra books, pencils, rulers, protractors, whatever. If it was clothing that was involved, shit. Well, listen, if your kids need school jackets, she would even do that sometimes. Shit, September come, listen, if your kids need jackets, your kids need pants, your kids need shoes, things along those lines, we got it. And that's the thing we gotta do. We gotta remember, as far as our community is concerned, not everybody gonna be born with a spoon in their mouth. Some people are not always gonna have, the extra resources, but they can have help to get extra resources without necessarily having to depend on the government for it. Like I said, we got people within our own communities that do these things. Shoot, I could
Right.
commend some of the damn hustlers in the hood, because some of the hustlers wasn't just trying to poison our community. They was trying to actually do certain things that was helpful. Look, this money that I'm making right here ain't for me. It's for case these kids need to do something for the summer, you know, trips, whether it's go away camps or trying to put together, basketball and sports tournaments, things along those lines, things to keep everybody active. And that's the thing.
Right.
I respect some of them because they wasn't so much poisoning their community. No, they was trying to do something. And some of them still had legal jobs while they was doing what they was doing. So it's like, I might be doing this, but this extra money is coming for something better. It's not just for me and to line up my pockets.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that shit. Even that's still flirting with disaster. Like 1 foot
Platty,
out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Platty, let me tell you something. That dry ass pork chop, you're gonna be feeding on that shit for 3 weeks. I'm gonna make that extra dry for your ass till I get my damn fucking kangaroo. Don't come in here talking no shit. Matter of fact, hold on, son. She gotta get one of these since she wanna talk shit. She gotta get one of these here.
Not my problem. That's just not my problem. Not my problem. That's just not my problem. Niggas talking shit. Bitches talking shit is my problem. Niggas talking shit.
There you go.
That's
There
an
you
AI
go.
theme song.
There you go, Platty. You get one of those real quick. Don't worry. Take number one away from Sirius. Nah, we ain't taking nothing away from Sirius. BMF, you stole me some lottery tickets, so don't come in here with that. I'm telling y'all, anybody come in here with that fake trolling, y'all gonna get it today. I got time today. I'm very petty. Watch this.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walk him down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pull on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case, why is he?
There you go. See, like even things like that, utilizing like what you were saying earlier about the AI to a degree. Prime example, yeah, some of that AI stuff that they're using, or this event occurred or this happened in the community. But then when you find out the truth that it didn't happen at all, now what? You got the people lost in a status of confusion. But if people understand what it is and know what the damn the blueprint is, shit, they could bypass a lot of that, man.
Yeah, that's frightening. Man. It's frightening.
That's why we
I
need
know
talks like
you
that.
could carefully use it like how you could carefully use it like how you use it, like for fun. But that thing gonna get wicked, man. Then
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, I didn't even upload it on my phone, and it just popped up, yo. I'm serious. It's felt like this.
Yeah.
Hey, AI Gemini. I'm like, what are you, yo? I don't
Yeah,
even want to
nah,
have
because
nothing
I
to do
got an
with
app.
that shit.
Yeah, yeah, nah, I'm saying because not all of it is going to be geared towards destruction and whatever. Nah, some of that is going to be geared for fun and games. See, like I said, it depends on how you utilize it and how you use it. Like with me, I use this for fun. I use this for laughs, entertainment purposes, and all of that. Because again, we
Yeah.
need to start laughing again. We need laughter. And I think that's important. Yeah, serious. Lock that damn door. BMF ain't leaving until I get my damn scratch offs, man. And my scratch off number is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sticks, you can't go nowhere because Sirius done locked the
Your
door,
name.
man.
I gotta slide my damn phone about to go dead, man. But yo, salute, man. Like always, it's a pleasure. Thanks for letting me on, man.
You already know, bro. Anytime the link is pinned, son, you already know, son. I appreciate you for chiming in on the combo.
Oh yeah, no question, man. Yeah, because it's always relevant. I love relevancy, man. All right, salute to the chat. Nothing but love, family.
You already, man. Appreciate you, man. Stay up, man.
All right, you too, fam.
Yeah, shout outs to I ain't never had no runny mac and cheese. Serious, lock the door again, cause Platty think it's a game. I ain't never had no runny mac and cheese. And guess what? You was still salivating over that shit. Stop acting like you ain't fat and hungry, damn it. Come on. I got time today. I told you my pettiness is at 1,000. I got time. But shout outs to my brother Harry Wins for popping in on the conversation. You know, that's what I'm saying. The link is pinned in case anybody else want to chime in on the topic. You know, like I said, we've had so many exceptional aspects of black excellence that is being overlooked or is not being given, any solid thought or any solid light. But we need to start bringing that light back. You know, I think that's important. Just remember that. It all begins at what you teach at home and what you give them as far as just knowledge and wisdom. Because again, they're going to end up being their own person. They're going to end up traveling their own road. Not everybody's going to follow in the footsteps of family or friends. Some people are going to have their own blueprint and they're going to carve it out. But as long as they got the right support system, as long as they got the right people that's always going to, keep the encouragement going, but also keep that good spirit going, a lot of things can be accomplished. A lot of things can be changed. Yes. Who else popped up in here that I'm missing? Hold on. Who else? Who else popped up in here that I missed? If I did miss anybody, I do apologize. When I'm in this good talking space, sometimes I might lose track of the chat. That's the thing. Our brothers and sisters got to be able to come together and realize that, look, not all of us is going to be in a space of, yeah, I could just snap my fingers and this can happen. Some people are going to have to work hard to get to where they need to get to. When you said BMF message, I haven't been spending money on live different, bro, because I've been. I know. I forgot. I know you said you're going to Florida. They ain't got nothing to do with the price of grapes, damn it. Oh, so you going to stick together with Platty? Okay. Well, here. I knew you was going to do that. So I got something for you.
Keep them on me like I live in the bank. Did it dessert like I live out the drink. My fashion is high, I live in the sky. I'm keeping my fire, I hope they don't try. You heard I'm on fire, but that ain't no lie. My youngers, I love them, I know they gon' ride. Hunter.
Yeah, you don't want no smoke today, I told you. I'm petty. Very petty today. Matter of fact, here.
Don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in, don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in, don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in.
Nah, I know, Sticks. I know. I ain't that petty. Shoot, I ain't that petty. I'm a little petty sometimes. I'm a little petty. Oh, one more again for the people.
Don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in, don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in, don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in.
Yeah, because like I was saying earlier, we've had some people who've shown black excellence in the medical field. That's another thing. We need more doctors. We need more nurses, certified nursing assistants, all of that. That's important. Shoot. Like I said, we need to uplift our people to the highest of the highest. We could definitely get to the highest places in life if, again, we stand firm, stand united, and again, just, take the necessary steps and never allow to be pushed off. Again, we can't discredit each other. We just got to keep building each other. got to keep uplifting each other. And it's not going to be this message for everybody because apparently we're going to still have that small percentage within our community that don't want to see any form of change. They are comfortable and they feel solid in how they live in their lives or how life is for them. But at some point, some of those people are even going to realize, damn, we could be doing more than what we're doing now. So again, it's just about trying to uplift. You know, some of our people had no education as far as no high school diploma, no GED, and look where they made it to. You know, again, because they was determined on building that success. They was, determined on keeping the structure and the foundation going. And that's what we need more than. We need more good talks like this. We just got to stand firm on it. Hold on one second. Sticks, I got you, brother. Hold on. Sticks, what's going on, man? Sticks, I think you on mute, bro.
I'm on mute. Hold on.
You good now? You good?
Why is it echoes? Okay.
Hold on. Let me mute, son. It's probably me. Hold on.
Okay. No problem.
No, you good, bro. You good.
Okay. No, I think this is a very, very good topic. Black excellence. Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. No, I'm saying, but these are the type of talks that are needed, bro. Like I said, we gonna have our days when we just kicking back. We might be talking about specific topics that people are gonna get on board with. Sometimes we're gonna have topics that people might not be on board with, but hey, the thing is consistency. Just like my brother said earlier, consistency. If we show that we are consistent, no matter what is being given to us or what's being thrown at us, there's a lot of things that could definitely change, and it's not going to happen overnight, but it will be a gradual, consistent change, and it'll be a reform if we just get it together. And this is the thing. Like I said, we don't cover these things because we feel it's not important. But believe me when I tell you, it's important. Because again, in order for things to change, in order for us to be looked at and not looked at as second class to no citizens, again, we just got to be real about it. We definitely just need to keep continuing to bring these topics, but also, stand on the battlefield when needed.
I agree. And I think black excellence means different things to different people. And I think black excellence should not be just strictly on education and financial, because black excellence could be a school teacher, right? I just think black excellence could be a plethora of things. Everybody defines black excellence different. And for me, what I consider as excellent, the next person may not consider as excellent. But I will say, as a collective, as a people, we together can exude black excellence because everybody plays a role on this team, right? We have doctors. I'm an accountant, by the way. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, parents. I think let's talk about black excellence in terms of raising children. I'm not a parent, but I will say this: they play a part also, because they're the ones who bring up the next generation to help us get to the next black excellence for the new generation. I know it's funny because it's everybody when you're young, each 10 years that you age in your life, you define things different. And for me, if you'd ask me the same question in my 20s, you'll get a different answer. I would say black excellence for me is not so much material things. Yes, younger that was for me. But black excellence for me is the things that are embedded in your mind, your conscience, your morals, your values. No matter what happens in your life, you still have those attributes. attached to your name. It's a part of you. And I like, to me, those attributes, no matter what happens, anybody take that from you. So yes, black excellence, you need, I think black excellence is everything. I guess I could say black people now is doctors, lawyers, money, teachers, parents, it's everything. Because all those things, and even the people who invented stuff in America or in the world that help us to like have electricity or whatever, the homes, historic homes, a structure that still exists. I think all those things represent black excellence. And I wish we can somehow put back in the history books the things that African Americans did for this society. Because I think black history is watered down too much in America because they don't these kids are not taught our history, which is sad. I mean, as painful as it is, it's a story that needs to be told so that we understand and navigate in this thing called life, to celebrate our excellence, to teach us how to be excellent. And I feel today we are going backwards. You know?
Nah, that's a whole fact. What you just said was all in all facts. You know, some of our stuff has been almost erased. So, like I said, but we have things that we know for a fact haven't been erased because it was documented. You know, but the things that we feel ain't documented or we feel is watered down or whitewashed, hey, we just got to bring it back to where it once was at. You know, and it does start again with what you teach at home. You know, and again, you know, there's many forms to get to black excellence. You know, again,
Yeah,
it's just what you teach, you know, what you learn and what you utilize to make your steps in life. You know, like I said, my mom's always taught me one thing. You know, no matter what life is throwing you, you got to be able to take those for what it is. And again, you might absorb some of that, but some of that stuff that you absorbed will actually be your fuel or motivation. And it'll also give you that determination to say, well, I'm not going to allow this. Or, you know what? I know I could accomplish more than what I am accomplishing.
right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we need to have these talks. Like today was like I started to talk on Friday, but you know, I said, you know, I was going to wait. I was going to try to do it Saturday, but it was a repeat of Friday. It was just too much going on out here. Fireworks. And like right now, you might hear some form of Jamaican music. They
Right.
having some form of fest out here. They probably gonna be out here to like 10, 11 o'clock. So you know, that's what I'm saying. I try to make sure that when I'm having these talks, you know, I'm in a
Right.
calm, comfortable space. You know, yeah, because right now, but look, they having fun though. Like I can't get mad about that. At least they ain't out here wilding out.
Right.
They ain't out here shooting and fighting. You know, when they have these type of events, yeah, you be stupid to do something and think your ass ain't going to jail.
Right.
And that's the one thing. You know, like I said, you know, some of us are gonna have to understand that you shouldn't have to go through the justice system or be a victim of the justice system just to learn something. You know, while you are free and while you are able to still do certain things, you know, especially with some of the resources we still got left, take the time, study, and utilize those things. You know,
Right.
but yeah, we could definitely, you know, bring that back in certain instances because again,
Right.
black excellence isn't just, you know, afraid. It's a way of life. You know, whatever you decide to do in your life as a melanated person, as long as you're not harming your community and as long as you're not pillaging from your community, hey, keep growing, keep striving, keep trying to do what's necessary for the better. You know?
Right. Right.
That's why it's always important. Like, see, with me, I'm always going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Right.
I know
But
sometimes you
also,
might not want to hear it, but you're going to have to.
right. But I also, right, right. I got you. But I also think that as black people, one of the things I do not like, we don't support, uplift, coach, and mentor each other. We're so quick to tear each other apart and tear each other down. And I don't
Yeah.
understand why we're doing that. We see fit to be nasty towards each other. We don't support each other businesses, whatever. And I wish we would stop doing that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like my boy Harry just said earlier, some of these things was programmed. You know, they programmed it into our heads that if we go against each other, then we helping the other folks to a degree. If we sit here and continue, prime example, to go at each other for differences that's really not that much of a difference. Like I said, the only thing that separates us a lot of times is religion, personal beliefs, politics, money. That's it. And religion, because some people might not believe. Everybody has their different beliefs. I
Right.
don't knock nobody. Like I said, I've seen people from you know, different parts of the world come together and make something happen as far as businesses and things are concerned. Because again, they put all that personal shit to the side. You know what? This doesn't matter. This ain't gonna help us for the bigger picture. So you just got to get back to that. Like, everybody gonna have their different views, beliefs, opinions. Cool, but
Right.
what stops us from coming together and building together? What stops us from supporting each other?
Right. I agree. Right. I agree. I'm so sorry. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry, y'all.
Nah,
Lightning
you
strike
good.
my library.
You got to make sure you wasn't drinking no more of that damn stuff again, man.
No, you know, it's funny because hold on. No, if I listen, if I I did a YouTube. Hold on. This way is better. Yeah, niggas. This way is way better because my window is back there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think
Nah,
it's a
you-
very good topic, and I wish we could continue this topic for the young people, even my age. We should always talk about this kind of stuff. What does Black excellence mean to you, and what can we do to make us better as a people? I just think that's very important. But let's be very clear one thing: Black excellence does not mean that you look down on other races. I'm not saying be racist. I'm not saying that. It's talking about how we elevate ourselves as a you still respect other religions, cultures, ethnicities. We don't look down on people. We don't do that. But I think in America, we are erasing a lot of stuff. We are diminishing the Black culture, our accomplishments. That's what I don't like. Black history should not be just in February. Why can't Black history be throughout the whole school year?
Nah, it's all fact. That's what I'm saying.
And
Got to get back to that.
right. And
We
what's
got to
so
get back.
embarrassing is this. Right, 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 right. And what's so sad here is, let's do a poll. You can see your chat. I can ask your viewers how many Black people in your live stream took their kids to a Black museum, or have they gone to a Black museum?
Nah, it's a whole fact. We, that's what I'm saying. We need that. And I'm gonna do a poll one of these days. I'm gonna just ask a very important question that's gonna make sure that everybody's on that thinking path. My bad again, y'all. They wilding out right now. I'm about to hear somebody scream out. Oh! My bad. Yeah, they going crazy right now. They got something called Jamaican Wet Fest. And all I've seen since, yeah, no, but ever since the smoke, well, I was in your live. When I was in your live, I was in the supermarket grabbing the things I need for tomorrow. But shoot, so when I got out the supermarket, all you seen was big crowds coming up, and all you seen was water guns and something else, and somebody was walking around with a water bucket. I said, oh, it's about to get crazy later. But this is something that they do every year around the summertime, at least around this time.
Wow.
So you're gonna hear a bunch of "Dog ain't never stop." But hey, this is what it is, though. This is what I'm saying. Like, look, we gotta remember this too.
Right.
Our Black excellence. A lot of times, it's not so much as what we're doing; it's how we do things. It's how we present them. Even down to the simplest thing like having fun. Like right now, we seem to be an influx of having fun. Everything has to be, I'm ready to shoot
Right.
at you. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. Nah, how about you just sit back, take a joke, have some fun? If you can't take a joke, I think it's something you need to remember. Go reevaluate yourself because we're gonna have moments where, yeah, we're gonna be somber, we're gonna be angry,
Right.
we're gonna
Right.
be
I
militant,
agree.
but we also gonna have our moments when we have fun. And that's the thing though. Just remember that no matter what you do in life, the main thing to remember is just have fun while doing so.
Right.
James number 8, what the hell you got your damn glasses on like that for? What you looking for, my guy? We ain't got no lottery tickets in here. I think BMF left.
Not a kid.
And shout outs to everybody that's popping
Y'all
in.
good.
Shout out to all the new ones. Diva Mama, I appreciate you popping in. 2Ps, you ain't no damn stranger. You need to go back on your other page. I'm used to calling you Triple D. But nah, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing though. See, people hate to have these discussions, but I ain't afraid to have them because again, I believe this will get us to a state of thinking again and get us back to a state of just doing what's necessary for the community and also for the world around us. Like you said, we don't discredit. Like that's the thing. We don't discredit certain things. I personally don't discredit anybody. But I'm just tired of we're not getting the just due we supposed to. Because again, we have contributed a lot to society and they try to take that away from us like we
Right.
ain't smart. You crazy? We was smart before we even knew how to read. That's what I'm saying. We gotta put things in order and then we just gotta move from there. But again, it starts with unity. How can we be unified when we quick to bash each other? We quick to down each other. We quick to say, I'm ready to put a bullet in you. I'm ready to do this to you. I'm ready to do this to your family. But then you gotta think about it. Come on now. What is that settling and what is that going to help? Only thing that's doing is bringing more heartache and more headaches. And then the cycle continues. Like we gotta break these cycles in order for us to get back to a prominent state. Wait, you want pork chops and cheese? Yeah, nigga, bring my sandwich, man. Stop playing me, James. See, look, stop playing me, James number 8. I want my pork chop sandwich. Extra tartar sauce, son. I want the extra tartar sauce. And that's what I'm saying. Look, we got some great people in here. Like I said, whether it's the smallest of the small, the biggest of the big. Like again, shout out to my brother Word. My brother Word is a life coach. But he also does other things, and that's what I'm saying. Even down to that. That's a form of black excellence right there. You showing the world that look, you can do anything that you striving to do. You just need the right support.
Right.
You a form of black excellence. Shoot, you dealing with a lot of shit that you shouldn't have to deal with, but you deal with it. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing. The one thing to remember again is just don't discredit things. And some of these things that we feel is detrimental to us, some of that should be a motivation for us not to fall into that trap.
Right.
So I said I call things down the middle. I don't know how everybody else do it, but I call things down the middle. No matter what the hell I speak about, I'm going to call things down the middle. I'm going to tell it like it is. I ain't going to tell it how it might be. I'm going to tell it how it is.
Right.
And you ain't got to like me in my Diddy voice. You ain't got to like me. You just mad as I tell it how it is, and you tell it how it might be. I'm not going to never tell it how it might be. I can tell it how it can be. And it can be something great for all of us if we just learn to stick together. The personal differences and everything else should be a thing that's thrown in the back of the mind because, again, we want something better, right? Got to be able to come together, too. Not just with our folks, but come together with folks who are actually in that like mind to say, look, we see what you're trying to do here, and we see you determined on it. So, look, we're going to try to come together, and we're going to try to help the mission.
Right.
Shoot, I got people from all walks of life that come through here, that support here, whether they're here every day or not. I never look at anybody different. I never treated anybody different. And if anybody has ever felt I treat them different, then I'll apologize for that. But other than that, I'm just me. I'm rough around the edges, but I tell it like it is. I don't sugarcoat nothing. Because that sugarcoating stuff to a degree is what got us in this position. You want to try to sugarcoat us with certain things instead of just telling us really how it is. Like, look, man, you might not want to hear this, but you got to hear this. You need to make a coffee. Uh-huh. I know, because it's already Monday over there. You future baby. I also need my lottery numbers for tomorrow. Come on. Come on. Come on, Platty. I play with shoot. Nah, that's what I'm saying. I got people from all walks of
I
life.
need a lot of, I need
I
a
got
mini
people
lottery.
from all parts of
Give
the
me a
world that
mini
come
lottery
through here.
ticket.
Why? Because again, we need all the lottery tickets. Nah, that's what I'm saying. You know, when you stand firm on certain things, like I said, I got people that come from all different walks of life, from all different parts of the planet that come through here. And a lot of them said the same thing. We enjoy what you're doing because you still standing on what you're standing on. You don't convert to anything else. Yeah, because we got other things that we need to tackle. You know, I could be talking about politics all day. I could be talking about celebrities all day. I could be talking about distractions all day, but those distractions are the reason why, again, we are not coming together and why we not doing better than what we should be doing. Why are we worried about certain situations when it doesn't have nothing to do with our communities? Now, in certain situations, we have to focus on it because there's certain things that are still happening to this day that is a danger and a detriment to our community. Like, see, prime example, I had a live a while back talking about how, you know, sex trafficking and everything else is affecting people's kids going missing, things along those lines, right? But it's
Right.
true. It's not just one community that feels that effect. Everybody feels it.
Right.
Same thing with healthcare, or same thing with just dealing with healthcare and, you know, healthcare issues alone. Certain things don't just affect one community; it affects everybody. You know, so I said it's better to just come together. You know, figure out where we go from here,
Right.
and then, like I said, we just open up different blueprints and paths that people can get acquainted with, and then, like I said, we could move the change forward.
Right. I agree. That's true. Yep. Those are all great points. I got it.
Yeah. Nah, that's what I'm saying. We just try to do the best that we can. That's what I'm saying. Like, a person like me ain't gonna stray away from these topics. But some people might be scared to push the issue or push the envelope. Shit, I'm petty. I got time. I got time. So shoot, I got a lot of time because I told somebody, this is the thing. You know, no matter what's given to you, you could take it for what it is and accept it, or you could deny it and then allow it to destroy you. Like, see, that's the one thing. My mom always told me no matter what, as long as you still breathing and as long as you still dedicated on doing what you're doing, continue to do what you do, no matter what it is you do in life. As long as you're happy, as long as you're successful, and as long as it's bringing success in and around people that actually helps people, do it. Like these talks right here, I feel help people. I got people that be going through the utmost things. I got people that go through a lot of personal shit off of this internet. They come here and hear certain things or hear certain talks, and the first thing they say, yo, you said something that resonated with me today. You said something that actually put me back in a good spirit. You said something that brought me back to reality. And I don't always expect to do that. But when I do, it does feel good because at least I know my words is actually saying something that means something. We just got to bring that impact. That's it.
Right. Right.
Hope they about to start again. Now they've been wilding since like 1 o'clock this afternoon. Who knows what time they gonna end? Yeah, man. But see, it's not as bad because yesterday I couldn't really do much at all. They started all the madness early. They started before 12 o'clock. Friday they had their little hot dog contest out here, and I ain't gonna lie. This past Friday was the first time since 2019 that it was jam packed, not just traffic wise, foot traffic, all of that. How you get hit by a parked car in the street? Like, just bumper to bumper traffic. How you get hit by a parked car? So I'm like, oh.
Okay.
But it shows, like, some of the things that's happening now. Prime example, we took another step back because when the world sat still, some of us ain't know what the hell to do. Some of us wasn't, placed as essential workers. Me, unfortunately, I was an essential worker. It wasn't bad, but I seen a lot during this time when the world sat still. And I even said, well, damn, is everything going to at least get back to some form of normalcy? And at certain points, it's starting to get back to that. But, it's just a little climb back. Again, we just got to be able to come together, stand strong and firm, keep our faith strong. And again, we got to always stop looking for outside help sometimes. Sometimes we can do the best in our communities without no real help. We got to stand together, though. Miss Chicago, baby. I see you up in here, baby.
Right. Now, brother, I'm going to drop because I'm on my live stream right now.
I kind of figured. I forgot it's Zen Sunday for you. I forgot. Don't drink the other bottle, damn it. Don't drink the other bottle, damn it.
It's already gone.
Damn it.
Not open it.
I'm about to say, you about to open it soon. I know as soon as you get off this can. Hey. Save me half of that bottle. I might need it. I appreciate you chiming in on the conversation, man. I appreciate you for
to be here. And thank you for inviting me.
Now you already know, man. Listen, I gotta remember to mod you up. So don't forget about nothing. I got you. And but you added some great convo to it, and we definitely need more of that. So
Perfect. Thank you.
I appreciate you, my guy. You already. Anytime the link is pinned, you more than welcome.
All right, sounds good. And have a good day. Happy
Happy Sunday, bro, and I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Peace out.
Shout outs to Sticks in Charge for popping in. And again, appreciate you for dropping those links, Serious. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like he said, Black excellence is not just, it's not just one thing. No matter what you decide to do in your life, you just gotta have a blueprint. You gotta be firm and set on doing that, and then move the goal post. Think that's important. Just like Harry said, sometimes you're gonna get, or what you think you're getting from somebody might not be that older than you. But if it's leading you to something correct, then by all means you do what's necessary. But when you realize that it's not meaning you any well, you gotta just separate yourself from that. And I think that's the problem. Appreciate you for dropping those links, Platty, baby. My fault, because I'm over here, like I said, I'm in a good zone right now. So, I have fun teasing anybody, Jai. We got fun teasing you about them damn kangaroos you owe us. James number 8, lock the door. Platty can't go nowhere until I get my kangaroo hat and my kangaroo slippers. Yeah, I told you I'm petty. Platty, you came back and didn't even offer no coffee, right? I got something for your ass. I got something for you. I knew you was going to do something. I knew your ass was going to do something. Here, take this. Yeah, take one of those. Here. You gonna get that dance till I get my damn fucking kangaroo, man. I ain't playing with you. Serious, lock the door. She can't go nowhere. She can't go nowhere. Think it's a game over here? You think it's a damn game? D, what you co-signing over here? You always co-signing something. I got something for your ass too. Don't worry, I got something for you. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Yeah. You worry about your darn breakfast and you still owe me some lottery tickets? We ain't trying to hear that. We are not trying to hear that. Your brekkie is in the refrigerator. I need you to make some scrambled eggs, some bacon. I need you to make some kangaroo pork chops. Get your ass in the kitchen. Come on. We all hungry. We all hungry, Platty. Come on now, damn it. See, again, I want the people to know, and especially people who might be new to the channel or people that could be coming in, to understand one thing. I'm all for the laughter. I'm all for the fun and games, but I'm also for the respect and the real deep conversations that are needed. And if you're going to be part of this, I don't really got that many rules outside of respect the people that are here, respect yourselves, and just be willing to, be a part of or take part in the conversation. Uh-huh. D was sitting over there in 20 different chats like I don't know. See, this is what I'm saying. Even this is a form of excellence right there. We have people who might not be content creators. We got people who are content creators. But they're doing their best to support those and just continue to be supportive of those who actually need the support, which is important. There's a lot of people right now that I feel the reason, like I said, that we are almost at 2,000 subs now. And it's about just networking, but it's also about just being yourself. And I think that's another thing we have to remember for Black excellence at its best. Just be yourself. You can't be nobody but yourself. You can't be a carbon copy of anybody else but yourself. You gotta have your own personality. You gotta also again just remember, you can't look down on people once you do get to a certain place in your life. You gotta remember there's always gonna still be people that are going through the struggles. So don't forget where you came from. Kirika, welcome back. Welcome back. Hold on. I'm mad at Kirika right now because her and the husband over here cooking all this darn barbecue, and I ain't see a plate in here yet. Now I'm messing with y'all. But hopefully y'all enjoyed y'all weekends. Hopefully a lot of y'all kept yourselves safe. I know a lot of y'all was doing barbecues or going to events, and some of y'all are still celebrating birthdays. And that's the thing. If you blessed to see another year, again, make every moment of life count. Love and cherish every moment. Keep creating memories. And also another year of blessings and another year of, lessons. See, Didi, you still over here co-signing stuff. Here, one more. And for those that celebrating birthdays, get your dance on. Yeah, don't mind my madness for everybody that's new here. And I'm officially the AI god. And I forgot to give y'all the Friday drop. Yeah, I couldn't give y'all the Friday drop because I was on the vertical. But here, take one of these.
You don't like to dance? Come on, do the cha-cha. Shorty Spanish, so she like to call me Papa. True fact, everything I do, they call it Flocka. All they do is copy me, I call them Walker. She get worried about my hoes, I had to block her. Had to kick off the list, I'm playing soccer. Why you acting Jamaican? You not even a roster.
Don't worry, you're gonna get one of these. Hold on. Let me bring back the little Rugrat.
I'm gang, and I'm dangerous. Smith and Wesson, and it's stainless.
Celebrating 2 birthdays today, my 10-year-old grandson. That's what's up, Miss Chicago. You leaving me serious, baby? Well, I ain't gonna keep y'all too crazy. Like I said, I was gonna try to do some music too, but apparently I'm getting overrun by the Jamaicans right now. But again, this is what's important: having these type of talks and discussions. Whether it's an hour, 2 hours, it could shoot. I've had some live streams that it went almost 10 hours because once the collective minds come up here, shoot, we gonna talk about it. And again, to everybody celebrating birthdays, hold on. I ain't forget about y'all. I really did not forget about y'all. Let me bring this back. Oh, okay, I misconstrued the message. My bad, series, baby. But yeah, oh yeah, for everybody that's new here, and shout outs to Sticks again, because some of y'all came from Sticks. Except for 1 or 2 people, they already been here. Come get your nephews and them. Miss Chicago, you been missing. Come get your nephew.
Not my problem. That's just not my problem. Not my problem. That's just not my problem.
Kirika, don't laugh at this. Y'all all got to take responsibility in this. Y'all all have to take responsibility for this, man. I told y'all to take my advice months ago. They nobody listened. Oh, for the email that's coming.
Not my problem. That's just not my problem. Not my problem. That's just not my problem.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Oh, y'all some good stuff. Hold on.
She want me on me like no. Sorry girl, but she gotta go. Sorry girl, but it's too much. 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 It's too much.
Yeah, you know Shrek had to get down with this, you know. And for those who, again, might be new to the channel, or for those who, might be visiting the channel, like I said, check out them short videos. I've officially donned myself the AI god. And yeah, anytime there's something happening, it'll be dropped on here. Like I said, there's more coming. And there's more coming. And there's more coming. But here, get your dance on.
Let me in, don't give in. Trust me, cause take all you see. So let me in, don't give in. Trust me, cause take all you see. So let me in, don't give in. Trust me, cause take all you see. So let me in, don't give in.
That's the thing, though. The message might not be for everybody, but the message is clear. This is something that will remain, at least here. I'm going to stand firm in having these conversations, even the most uncomfortable talks. Why? Because I feel getting to a place and a point, it'll definitely shape and revision how we look at life, how we look at Black excellence, and how we determine, what's going to happen for the future. Again, we got future generations coming behind us when we long gone. What kind of legacy do we leave? My legacy right now that I'm building is just what it is. I'm going to take every minute of life, not so much as enjoying it, because I've enjoyed enough of it, but I'm going to make every moment towards trying to make sure our people get back on track as far as the thinking and just, bringing back the concepts and the constructs of our community. I might not be a perfect example of anything, but the one thing I will say, I'm not trying to see my community destroyed, and I won't be a part of it. And that's what I'm saying. Again, we all come from different walks, different beliefs, so on and so forth. But what stops us from actually standing together? It's not much that separates us, even within our own community. It's not much that separates us. But again, we got to be willing not to be separated no more. Boosie, you already know, appreciate you. That's what I'm saying. Like prime example, the legacy I'm building right now. When I do have kids, outside the kids that I've raised in my own family, when I have these kids, they going to look back and say, well, damn, despite whatever, he was really on a mission. Rice, what's going on, my guy? Hope all well with you. That link is pinned in case anybody want to chime in or add anything to the conversation. Like I said, Black excellence. It's not just what's taught at home. It's what we strive for. It's what we live for. And it's also what we do with what we got. Do we try to break these cycles the best way possible? Or do we continue to let these cycles break us? I think that's important, though. All right, you've been missing for a minute. Here, come get your nephew.
Not my problem. That's just not my problem. Not my problem. That's just not my problem.
Serious, I ain't forget about you. Hold on.
Motherfucker.
Oh, somebody else come get the other nephew. It starts with it starts with yeah, that's what I'm saying. It starts with all of that. You know, again, it starts with the education. What are we teaching our kids outside of, you know, the normal shit that they think is normal? Like sometimes we gotta think outside the box. You gotta remember that part. Yeah, when you see that face, that's Grandpa Cleophas, and he on one for the day. But yeah, embrace the madness a little bit, you know.
Some things don't work, and that's the way love goes. I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. It's over now, what time will tell.
And when all else fails, yeah, I know. Some of y'all just gotta take a look at the madness. Like I said, look at them short videos. You need a good laugh. You need something that's gonna put you back in that good spirit. Hey, check out my shorts, man. I'm playing with a fake full deck, y'all. I'm playing with a fake full deck. Black excellence at its finest, taking the AI and doing the, you know, doing the impossible sometimes. It's worth it. It is worth it. Hold on.
Yeah. Time to flip the pillow back over to the cool side. Yeah. Feel me? I kind of like when they sleep on me, though.
Yeah, I kind of like when they sleep on me, though. That's why they call me ready. I got it. Well, you know what? Hold on 1 second. Let me get back in my salsa mood. One more again for the people in the background.
She want me on me like no. Sorry girl, but you gotta go. Sorry girl, but it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much, girl. It's too much. It's too much, girl.
Yeah, don't encourage the madness, y'all. Well, encourage all the madness shit. I'll be trying to tell y'all not to encourage it, but people don't listen. I ain't gonna say no names today, but shoot, y'all don't listen. I told y'all to take my device months ago. I told y'all to take that shit a year ago. Y'all ain't listen. But here, take this.
No competition, these stale. No curbing my.
It's sad that my face fits on everything AI wise. My bad.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, honey, and her my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. High key, keep a horn on me. That come my seat. High peak, ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off at my feet.
Yes, you know I ain't got no damn sense. I tried it, but apparently I ain't got no damn sense. Oh, and shout outs. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Shout outs to all the motivators. Shout outs to everybody who's getting themselves back in shape as far as their physical health, whether they gaining weight, losing weight, or doing anything in between. We ain't forget about y'all.
Me when they sober on parole. I'm a felon. You think I ain't got that blower? Yeah, you right, bro. Take his head off his fucking shoulder. You hear me? Hit the rollie stove with the rollie on. Who was our getaway car? Jag portfolio. You hear me? Hey, I heard I had some sneak dissers. Whoever feeling hot, that AR got a heat sensor. Cuz said don't entertain them hungry niggas. I wish I would pay it.
Yes. You already know how I do, Miss Chicago, but shoot, most of y'all know how I'm doing. I ain't got no damn sense. Oh, for everybody who might be on vacation, because if my vacation starts tomorrow, hold on 1 second, hold on. I ain't forget about y'all. I did not forget about y'all.
I'm rubbing a butt like baby girl. I wanna fuck like get G. 1 2 step in a box. Get G.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go. Oh, but hold on. For the other motivators who are doing anything, hold on.
I'm rubbing a butt like baby girl. I wanna fuck like get G.
Get jiggy. 1 2 step in the box. 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 Get jiggy.
Oh, and for those that are new here, if you ever see me play this drop, that means we had some troll activity and I'm not dealing with it.
Second bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off.
Embrace the madness, encourage it, but hey, do it the right way. Do it the right way. I see somebody was already encouraging the madness. Serious, Didi? Told y'all to listen. Told y'all to listen. Y'all don't listen. So hand, take one of these. Take one of these dance steps. Oh, don't worry, I got something for Halloween though.
I rock like pebble, jump free and shit. Hear this beat, coming like heavy metal. If you got a business, bro, please say.
Don't encourage my madness, y'all. Don't encourage my madness. I ain't playing with a full deck to a degree. Wait, yes I am.
She want me on me like no. Sorry girl, but you gotta go. Sorry girl, but it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, I ain't playing with a full deck. Oh, and shout outs to my brother in the shadows. He got to get one of these too. Yeah, Karika, y'all gonna get a look. You and the hubby gonna enjoy some of these shits. But for some of y'all that haven't seen the shorts, y'all make sure y'all check out those shorts too. Appreciate everybody, especially all the new ones who are here, and welcome into the family. Hopefully y'all enjoy. Y'all stay here. Anytime I got that link pinned, if there's a topic that I'm discussing or the topic that I'm on, y'all want to add your 2 cents to it, you're more than welcome. You know, I appreciate everybody who is being a part of, still becoming a part of the build. And like I said, we still gonna have these type of conversations. What you mean too late? Serious? It ain't too late. It is not too late. Matter of fact, here.
Before we start to turn it out, you must first begin to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now drop, now drop, now drop, now drop. Breathe in, breathe out.
The first ever AI Matrix Awards might be coming soon, so here.
Mom, I just won an Oscar.
You know, and that's the beauty of things, especially in this scenario right here. You know, you're gonna need some laughter in your life, and when all else fails, just remember this face right here.
That make me crazy. That make me crazy. That make me crazy.
Oh yeah, and I had a motivation for this one. Somebody come get the other nephew. Don't oh Lord to me. Don't oh Lord to me. Serious. See, look, this is what happens when y'all encourage madness. This is what happens when y'all encourage all the wrong behavior. You get shit like this. I keep telling y'all. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I'm out the way, yeah, I'm low, okay. Yeah, the island right here is remote, okay. I ain't thinking about no reaper, nigga, I'm reaping what I sow, okay. Got a Benjamin and a Jackson all in my house, like I'm Joe, okay. Hellcat, made his own voice and them types LA solo, okay. Everybody wanna be demon till they get chipped by your.
Shout out to Hustle Man for that shit. But everybody that's feeling good, hey. Dance like you ain't got no tomorrow. for people that think that hate is going to override my judgment, or they think it's just going to put me in a bad position, watch this.
What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing.
There you go. There you go. So more madness encouraged. You know. I think they took down my other one. Damn it. Hold on. I think they took down my other one. Some of my bitches. Actually, they did. I gotta put that back up there. I gotta put. Oh no, they didn't. Here you go. Here, take. Don't forget about your other one series. Hold on. There you go. Madness encouraged, y'all. Madness encouraged. But we got real motivation though.
Touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable, shake the unshakable. It's holy, baby. Can't see the unseeable, reach the unreachable, do the impossible. It's holy, baby. Can't move the unmovable, stop the unstoppable. I'm so far ahead of my time, I'm about to start another life. Look behind you, I'm about to pass you twice. Back to the.
Yeah, you know, I ain't got no damn sense. Take one of these too.
Bounce back, take a loss, look, get it right back, right back. She get tossed round, moving like that. Look, outside with the demon. Beyonce almost made me drown, but I'm breathing. I had to lose to win. Then I told myself
You know, I ain't got no damn sense, y'all. I ain't got no damn sense. Oh yeah, don't worry, there's more coming. And there's more coming. And there's more coming. For those who might need a little more inspiration for the day, hold on one second. Hey, not forget about y'all. No, I ain't got no damn sense. Oh, wait. I need to add one more laugh before I get up out of here.
shining once again. Ran it up, I told her mama shot him out of youngs. Nah, right.
Like I said, if y'all need a good laugh or something just bring you back into that calm space, y'all better check them short videos. Your boy ain't playing with a full deck to a degree. To a degree. To a degree. Go ahead.
Take that dick, wait your turn. In my own lane, we can't merge. So with no head, you can learn. Let's see how much you can earn.
No, I ain't got no damn sense. I ain't got no damn sense. But I think that's what's important. You know, again, just showing black excellence all around the board, from the smallest integer to the biggest. You know, and I think this topic was important today. You know, and you know, we gonna have people who feel like it's not important, but when we lose sight of the main mission, we ain't gonna never get to a destination that we should get to. Oh, you know, I ain't got no sense. Hold on one second. Hold on. Yeah, I know. Don't encourage the madness. Don't encourage the madness. Oh, and this is what happens. See, I could make fun of myself too. This is what happens when you're dealing like this. No, I ain't got no damn sense. Oh, and for everybody who feel like I feel.
Bounce back, take a loss, look, get her right back, right back. She get tossed round, moving like that. Look, outside with the demons. Beyonce almost made me drown, but I'm breathing. I had to lose to win. Then I told myself I never lose.
Oh, I didn't forget about my classical side. Hold on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And for people who feel like me, unfortunately, I gotta go to work tonight. But for people who feel like me,
I don't wanna go to work. I don't wanna work tomorrow. I just ain't tryna go to work. I don't wanna work tomorrow. I don't wanna go to work. I don't wanna work tomorrow.
oh man, but you know, appreciate everybody that rocked out. Shout outs to my boy Harry, and shout outs to Sticks for popping in on the conversation. The link is still pinned in case anybody else want to chime in, but if not, you'll see me at your quinceañera like this.
Make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me go up.
Yeah, you're gonna see me doing something like that. Don't worry, I'm somewhere near somebody's barbecue table as we speak. Yeah, let me get one more motivation for the day before I get up out of here. Hold on.
I told them crackers holler at me when they sober on parole. I'm a felon. You think I ain't got that blower? Yeah, you right, bro. Take his head off his fucking shoulder. You hear me? Hit the rollie stove with the rollie on. What was our getaway car in the Jag portfolio? You hear me? Hey, I heard I had some sneak dissers. Whoever feeling hot, that AR got a heat sensor. Cuz said don't entertain them hungry niggas. I wish I would pay attention to these homeless niggas. Go call my phone.
Yeah, but I've held y'all long enough. And I'm going to revisit this conversation. Like I said, when I revisit the conversation, it's only because I'm adding more to the flavor. So, you know, appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yes, we still going to have great conversations and topics. And we still got more content on the way. Again, for everybody celebrating birthdays, hopefully y'all keep yourself blessed. Enjoy every moment of life. Keep doing what's necessary, man. Like I said, in order to strive for greatness, you got to think great. And again, you got to believe in yourself more than anything. Have faith and, you know, stability within yourself, and things will definitely change for the better. But I'm about to get drowned out by even more noise, so let me get up out of here. Again, appreciate everybody that was part of this talk today. And hold on, I didn't forget about y'all. Forgot two more things.
I knew my opposition never knew me. They wouldn't be opposition if they know me. I made the proposition to my hitters. I told them to knock them down if you owe me. I just been sliding around here and building. We moving. We got pounds in them 40s. Them niggas got shot down. We was whoring my homie a op now, so we on them. I was like 16 with the Mac on me deep in the field.
Still gangs try to run up on the guy to send your legs to your mom. And we still got kilos of coke. Rough riders to the death, riders die, nigga, we know the oath. That's why I'm trying to send this metal through your head. Cause you got me curious, you probably look better when you dead. Now I'm by the spine.
But yeah, I appreciate every last one of y'all. But yeah, we're going to definitely revisit this conversation. I could be back tomorrow with a light topic. The link could definitely be pinned. But yeah, you know, shout outs to everybody that made this possible. And I ain't forget about y'all. I did not forget about y'all. Hold on 1 second. The ones that made it possible, I ain't forget about y'all.
You don't like to dance? Come on, do the cha-cha. Shorty Spanish, so she like to call me Papa. True fact, everything I do, they call it Flocka. All they do is copy me, I call them Walker. She get worried about my hoes, I had to block her. Had to kick off the list, I'm playing soccer. Why you acting Jamaican? You not even a roster. If you really a Jamaican, make the pasta.
Yes, if you're really a Jamaican, make the damn pasta. But yeah, let me get up out of here. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout outs to the replay game. Shout outs to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. And for everybody that was in attendance today, y'all already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. And that's all I'm going to do is give you real topics and real builds. And I'm also give you this before you leave up out of here.
It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them. Fuck. Birds of a feather. They flock together, they make you a sucker. I don't fuck with nobody. No. If you ain't mob tied, then it's fuck you. I want numbers, some money. But if they get with this shit, I'ma flush you. I'm in South Carolina. I'm looking for.
Yeah, I see y'all. And again, appreciate everybody that chimed in. Again, shout outs to Sticks in Charge. And shout outs to my boy Harry for popping in. You know, definitely was appreciated on that conversation. And for anybody else, y'all already know the link will be pinned in case y'all want to chime in. It's always good to get different views and perspectives of things. Things that will keep us moving forward for the future generation. Let me leave y'all with this one more game before I get up out of here. But y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.